Hey everyone, welcome to the Entry Point Hunting Podcast. I am your host, Justina Lee Stoltz, and today I have Kane Blake on the line. Kane Blake is a local activist and family man who started the Okanagan Forest Task Force in September of 2016. And from then until now, the OFTF has removed over 1 million pounds of garbage from our local backcountry. The OFTF is a not-for-profit organization comprised of hunters, anglers, and just general outdoor enthusiasts and volunteers who are concerned over the growing epidemic of illegal dumping in our forests, recreational areas, and along our natural waterways. And today we are going to dive into the scope of this problem, what's being done about it, and what you can do to get involved and help out. So without further ado, let's get to it. Kane, thank you for being on the show today. I'm very excited to chat with you about all things OFTF and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's been a long growing process.
I bet. Yeah. And I'd love to know a little bit about that. So what was the tipping point in 2016 that drove you to actually do something about this problem?
You know, I grew up in always being in the backcountry, whether it was hunting with my family, hiking, dirt biking, and just enjoying nature. And as my life progressed and I became a father, I wanted to pass that on with my kids. And, the one day we were out up Postal Lake Road, and I have, I think he was 6 years old or 5 at the time, say, Dad, why is there so much garbage everywhere?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you answer that? Because people are slug. Yeah, people suck. And in the back of my head, it something rang in my head with one thing my dad always used to say: there's two types of people: the people that talk about the things they can do in the world, or the people that just do the things they can do.
Yeah.
And I'd rather not talk about it and just do it kind of person. So yeah.
Well, you've made the best of both. You got to talk about it and do it now. So you're doing both of the things.
Yeah. So that's how that sort of started. And here we are about 8 years later with, I think we're sitting right now, our current numbers at 1,050,000 pounds.
Wow. I was going to ask you what the updated number was.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of garbage in the backcountry. And people, when you tell people that you're pulling garbage out of the backcountry, a lot of people that I've noticed we talk to assume it's one or two garbage bags here and there. And then when you're like, yeah, no, we're at like 1 million pounds now. And they're like, what?
Yeah. And it's hard to conceptualize. Like when you say 1 million pounds, people think, oh yeah, like 1 million little garbage bags, but we're talking trucks, trailers, RVs, vehicles, like washing machine, like everything that you could possibly think of that people can somehow dump out in the woods is part of that 1 million pounds. It's not 1 million pounds of little green garbage bags.
No. And I mean, to touch base on one of the actual cleanups we did this year, even, which was out in Okanagan Falls, up I think it's the old 201. It was in an old camp that had been set up, and that cleanup alone was over 129,000 pounds.
Wow.
And people go, well, that's a lot. And I said, yeah, that was 4 semi-truck loads of metal. And we had dump trucks and a dumpster company come with bins, and they were in constant rotation back and forth to the landfill all day long.
Yeah,
we couldn't keep up. Like, it was just that much. We had excavators, front end loaders, bobcats, everything running around.
Yeah, we're talking big machinery haul outs, not just a few pickup trucks with garbage bags and little grabber picker thingies.
Yeah, no, that's not the case. And a lot of times when we do a cleanup, we'll clean right from where usually dirt road will start, and we'll go all day long until we can't find anything else, or we're that tired.
Yeah, and so touch on that a little bit. When you say we, the grand we of who's doing these cleanups and all of this equipment, and you talk about a semi-truck trailer full of stuff, who is doing all of this now? Like it started with you, and I'm assuming your family going and doing stuff and friends picking stuff out of the woods in 2016 to now we're a full-blown operation, not for profit. So what was the evolution there? When did it start becoming a thing where you had actual heavy duty equipment and dumpster trailers coming in?
So in 2016, our very first cleanup was sort of, I was a post of, hey, we want to do a cleanup of the Postal shooting range. Anybody want to come help? And it was a great turnout. We had a dumpster brought in.
On your
And
dime.
no, the RDCO actually took care of that for us because we arranged to have it all set up, and it was the tipping fees were waived, and
Nice.
it went from that to, hey, let's do another one, and then another one, and another one, because more places need our help. And as we started going, I started reaching out more and more to the time at Win Rentals when that was a company. And hey, we're doing this cleanup. How much do you charge for a bobcat? Well, if you're cleaning up the backcountry and whatever, we'll donate the bobcat. You cover the fuel. Fair, I can do that.
Yeah.
And I actually had a lawyer reach out to me who ended up joining this Facebook group, which was still fairly new. We'd only been up, I think, 3 or 4 cleanups in. And he said, do you know what a not-for-profit is? And I said, yeah, kind of like the Shriners. And he's like, yeah. Have you ever thought about becoming a not-for-profit? It might open some new doors and, things like that. And I was thought about it. I guess maybe. I don't know. We're still not even a year into this.
Yeah.
And he took it upon himself to make sure that we became a not-for-profit. And yeah, it grew from there. And we went from doing little cleanups here and there to now we're doing them sometimes 3 in a month. And we travel from obviously Okanagan Falls. We're looking at another one out past Headley.
Yeah.
All the way out to, I'd like to say Vernon. However, we're having issues with out there with the tipping fees and everything like that. When we do our cleanups now, we've got it down to a science where I can call the RDCO. This is where we're going to be. I need a dumpster. They arrange for the dumpster. The tipping fees are waived, everything.
Yeah. And that's the regional district. For those that aren't familiar, RDCO is the regional district that covers off kind of all of the areas that aren't within a municipality in the Okanagan Valley.
Yeah. And even the RD SO, which was with the Okanagan Falls area. But when we're dealing with the RDNO, there's some touchy subjects there about, they have a $2,000 a year tipping fee coverage, and we've filled bins that cost more than that to dump.
Yeah, and that's in the North Okanagan.
And after that, that's on us to pay that difference, except for we're just that, a nonprofit volunteer organization that is not government funded, and we are literally funded by the kindness and generous hearts of local community members and volunteers and local businesses.
Yeah.
We don't have the money to be paying $3,000 to $2,000 a bin to be tipping all the time.
Yeah, and those tipping fees, for people that aren't familiar, is the fee that you pay to dump stuff at the dump. So I guess one of the things that I've always tried to focus on in any aspect of where there's a problem is what's the solution? And the solution is not the Band-Aid, which is you guys are like the most amazing Band-Aid that any municipality could have asked for, is that you guys, as out of the goodness of your hearts as volunteers, are going out there doing something about a problem that you see. You're being the change that you want to see in the world, as the cliche goes. But the solution is not just to keep Band-Aiding and going and having to clean up the garbage. So is there something that you think, through your years of doing this now and the experience, is there something that if you could have everyone make a change today, if each person that you came across could make a change today, what would you want them to do? Or what's the solution to prevent this from continuing to happen?
2 totally different answers to that. So there is a solution, and we had a solution. I'm going to say 10 years ago, we had a solution. And it worked. I mean, we still had illegal dumping, But the problem we have now is a lot different than what we had 10 years ago.
Mhm.
10 years ago, it was dumping, and now we have people living in the
Mm.
backcountry. And literally, I'm not saying everybody, and I'm not going to paint everybody with the same brush, but destroying very nice, gorgeous, pristine areas
Mhm.
with their garbage and just trying to make it their own homestead. And, 10 years ago, the natural resource officers would go in, and I'm sure many people remember the stories that if you built a cabin, they were going to burn it down or take it down.
Mhm.
And you were only allowed to stay 14 days. You weren't allowed to build illegal structures, live in the backcountry. And now that's not the case.
So what was the solution 10 years ago? You said we had a solution. What was it 10 years ago?
That solution was when you would call in and say, this person has been there longer than 14 days, the people that be, when you make a report, would go out and they would tell you it's time to move on. You can't stay here. You'd get a ticket.
Yeah, they had the authority to do
Whatever
so.
those cases were, because they were the police of the backcountry.
Mhm.
And it seems like the only people doing that now is us.
Really? So local law enforcement, I guess. Not sure exactly. Who would you call back in the day for that? Was that conservation officers or was that?
No, conservation is a different entity. They more deal with wildlife, the
Yeah, right.
illegal dumping part of it.
Yeah.
But it falls sadly on the natural resource officers. And I had a chat with one actually at an outdoor sportsman show the beginning of this year. And I asked him, I said, you guys used to be these big scary people that everybody were afraid of, and what happened?
Yeah.
And even now with the way our government system is and the things that are happening in the world, he told me, he's like, we're not allowed to do that.
They're not
Um,
allowed to move
nope.
people along anymore. Yeah.
Now, when you come across a camp that doesn't matter what they're doing, it seems in the backcountry, clear cutting. We found one where they clear cut their own way to the lake and made a full car trail after cutting out like 30
Wow.
trees.
Wow.
That they even have to make a report to HEART, which
To
is
heart.
an organization, nonprofit, from what I'm gathering. It's called the Homeless Encampment Action Response Team.
Mhm.
And it's social workers that will go out and they try and provide you some help and to coax you out of the bush. But if you don't take it, then you don't take it.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, it's not working. Let's find another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's sort of how our conversation ended. And I just told him, I said, this problem isn't going away and it's only growing, which tells me what we're doing isn't working.
And I mean, the problem isn't only that people are living out in the bush and creating garbage and such, but people are dumping too, right? I mean, illegal dumping is
Yes.
still a major part of it. I was
Yep.
part of a cleanup that happened in Peachland, and I mean, it had been somebody who had been living up there but eventually moved on, but all of the crap was left afterwards.
Yeah.
So
No. And
people will go and just dump their garbage, let alone also a secondary problem being that people are now living out in the woods without proper facilities or establishments.
yeah, and illegal dumping is still, it's a huge problem. We
Mhm.
catch people all the time with truckloads of garbage or kitchen cabinets, drywall, all kinds of things, and
Yeah.
they're still dumping, and that's still an issue, and that'll always be an issue, and
Do
always
you think
have
there's
been
any
an issue.
solution? Do you think there's any, like
There
do you
is a
think there's any
solution, and
solution?
we've started doing it where I won't list the road names or where, but we've started putting cameras on Forest Service roads,
Mm,
and we catch people, and once we have your plate number, it gets handed over to conservation. And we usually have photos of you going in with the garbage, your plate number, everything. And on your way out, you're empty. It's all time stamped. We can
mm,
tell you if it took you 15 minutes to unload.
yeah.
We know. And that all that information goes to the conservation officers once we do our report on it. And hand it to them. They have all the information they need to go hand you a ticket.
And what is the ticket for that? If you're caught illegally dumping, what's
It
the
does
penalty
depend on
for that?
what you're dumping. Like
Oh, okay.
a lot of the ones we see are, I think they're $575, which everybody says that's not enough.
Yeah.
I don't get to pick and choose the prices. We just hand over the information. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wish we could pick the fine, but that's not the case. But I am told that it depends on what you dump. And a lot of people even dump yard waste, which
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. That said, I have my own strong beliefs on that.
Yeah.
But I know depending on what you dump in yard waste, it can be a more expensive fine. Like if you're dumping an invasive species and it chokes
Mm-hmm.
out pine trees and like all kinds of things, that
Yeah.
could be a way bigger fine.
Yeah.
Um, you know, my view on the whole dumping yard waste, and I'll touch on that very briefly. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people say it's it's compostable, it's going to turn into dirt. What's the big deal? It's a few branches, it's some lawn clippings, it's whatever.
Yeah.
We live in the Okanagan, which a lot of people call Smokanagan.
Yeah. The
We
last
are
few years for
known
sure.
we are known for our wildfires. And I
Yeah.
tell people we have usually 3 seasons: winter, flood, and fire.
Yeah.
Sometimes fire starts before flood even.
Mm-hmm.
And why feed a potential fire more fuel?
Yeah.
Those
Well,
couple
and the thing
branches
is
those couple branches lead to the next guy, it's a couple branches, and so on and so forth. And it's just feeding what could be a fire more fuel, not to mention the men and women that have to put out these fires now have to walk through all your yard waste.
Well, and the thing is it's not just one person doing it, right?
No,
So I mean,
no.
if the general concept is oh, it's biodegradable, okay, well, if the 1,000 houses in my neighborhood decide to all take their yard waste, within a reasonable driving distance, because it's
Yep,
not like they're driving thousands of kilometers to go dump their yard waste. If everyone dumps it in a ring around our neighborhood, that is just basically like a fuel tinderbox waiting to happen,
yep,
whether it's a natural lightning strike or some person who has a pyro tendency to go and light things on fire. You find a dry pile of dry grass and leaves and branches
yep.
that, like you say, is great fire starter. So if everyone did it, we'd have a woods that's just full of lawn clippings. And we'd also be in a lot worse shape for fires, which thankfully this season hasn't been too bad
No,
in comparison to the last few years. But yeah, no, I also agree. Dumping your lawn clippings or your yard waste out into the woods, despite it being biodegradable, is not ideal if everyone is doing it.
no. And it's still a $575 ticket, whether it's lawn clippings, rose bush trimmings,
Yeah.
or any of that. It's still considered illegal dumping.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, illegal dumping always going to probably happen, but there are methods and things that are being put in place to maybe disincentivize people from doing it if they get
Yeah,
caught doing it. So hopefully they don't do it again. Who sets the fine amount? Is that the officers that write the ticket, or is that a
yeah.
provincial thing?
That's I'm pretty sure it's the conservation officer's discretion on
Okay.
what's dumped, the amount. I always see signs that say up to 200,000 or whatever. And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know, those tickets don't get
2,000.
handed out.
Yeah, there's usually like the up to 2,000 or up to $5,000 fine or
Yeah.
whatever on all of those signs. So I mean, maybe if they handed those out, that would be it. But I guess obviously they take into consideration people's circumstances as well. So who knows?
If
At their discretion, but
you have the money to drive all the way up the bush to dump it, you probably had the money to go to the landfill.
well, given how expensive gas is these days, yes, that would be probably
Yeah.
true. And so how does the system work for when you guys do a clean out right now? Like you're established after, 8 some odd years now doing this. So if there's an area that somebody finds, say they're out on a backcountry adventure and they come across a dump pile or maybe an old squatters camp or something like that, what does that look like? What do people do?
So what on our website, we have a map, and anybody can see it and view it, and a report page as well. And you can look on this map and see all these red pins and green pins. Green means it's been cleaned up, red means it hasn't been.
Mm.
And we not only do we scout out backcountry roads all the time and make our own reports, we also rely on the general public to make reports when you're out there, whether you're horseback riding, dirt biking, hiking,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may, hunting, whatever. And you come across garbage. We've actually this year alone came out with a new app
Yeah, that's exciting.
OFTF, which is out for Apple and Android.
Nice.
It works without cell service as well. So it doesn't matter where you are in the backcountry, you can open up the app,
Mm-hmm.
take a photo of it, mark it as illegal dumping, and hit send.
Nice.
And it automatically tells us the GPS coordinates of where you were standing when the photo was taken. We've taken all the hard work out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because we want the most reports we can. We want to make it user friendly and try and make sure that we're getting all that garbage out.
Yeah.
So it all starts with a report. Once we come up with a road in an area that has a certain amount of pins or big piles, even small piles, we'll go out and we'll take the truck and a dump trailer and just go clean it up. But
Yeah.
for the big cleanups, we make sure we have enough garbage to warrant a big cleanup, bringing in dumpsters and things like that, which we call the RDCO, give them the coordinates, where we want the dumpsters put,
Mm-hmm.
and then the planning starts.
Yeah.
How are we going to get this amount of people to this location and get all the garbage we can out? And the running joke is that I'm the guy that always has a backup plan for a backup plan for a backup plan, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I spend days and days planning, scouting with our team behind the scenes that we have. God bless them.
Yeah.
That I've built over the years, and the trust, and they know where my head's always at. I know where their head's at. It works great. And we come up with this big plan and a backup plan. And then we post it up that we're going to do a cleanup on this date on our Facebook page or group, and we get it all set up. And that morning, when all the volunteers come, the bin is already there. They know that we have our morning safety meeting every time, because safety has to be brought up.
Yeah.
Nobody's running down embankments and trying to rappel off certain things. That's not, don't do it. Just leave the tire down there.
Yeah.
We'll find another way.
Yeah.
And so at the end, usually by the end of the day, everybody's exhausted. We provide everybody with a lunch and water and Gatorades and whatever they need throughout the day. And at the end of the day, a few of us usually stay behind. We make sure everybody's out of the backcountry after the cleanup. Mm-hmm. And we close the bin doors, take some photos, and usually Monday morning, the dumpster company comes, takes their bin off to the landfill.
Wow. And so who's funding, like providing lunch for, say, the range of people, 5 to 30 volunteers, 40 volunteers that show up. If people want to maybe help fund that, how do they do that? How do people donate to you guys?
So there is a donate button on our website right at the very top. It says there's a donate button. We have the option where you can do a one-time donation or a reoccurring donation. Mm-hmm. We've got certain businesses that every month they have a reoccurring donation that they do. Nice. And some people just want to do that one-time donation, and that's literally what keeps us going.
Yeah.
Doing the patrols, and I mean, I do patrols all the time. A couple of us do, and it's not cheap. The fuel isn't cheap. The truck maintenance isn't cheap. Like, I drive the OFTF truck, which in the summertime gets converted into a wildland firefighting rig, because you never know what's going to happen even on a cleanup. We're dragging cars across rocks. Yeah. We come across all kinds of things that could start a fire or is already burning. Yeah. And we put it out, or we prevent the fire from even happening. And usually once the fire bans kick in, we also do fire patrols. Well, we're out not only doing fire patrols, but we're also scouting out for more garbage. It's camping season usually.
Yeah. So
we're putting out abandoned campfires and all kinds of things. So, but the maintenance on the truck is not cheap either, right? So the money that we get goes towards all kinds of things: food for volunteers, shovels, rakes, garbage bags, even the hoodies we're wearing, which we sell, and t-shirts, but you still have to buy those to be able to fundraise and sell more.
Yeah.
So it all adds up, right? The money, it all goes back to the community somehow.
Yeah. And if people want to get involved with that, if people want to be a volunteer, what's the best way for them to follow and find out how to do that?
So we have our Facebook group, which is OFTF on Facebook, because Okanagan Forest Task Force was a big one, so we just did
Yeah.
OFTF.
Well, yeah.
That's our Facebook, Okanagan Forest Task Force on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube as well.
And
And
those are the best places to find out when there's a cleanup and how they can show up, or do people just show up?
To find out all about the cleanups, when we're doing a cleanup, that's all posted on our Facebook.
Okay. Okay. So I'll make sure that I link that in the show notes so that if people want to get involved and follow along, or if maybe if they're not able to physically volunteer, they can donate, and we'll post a link to the website as well.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of people, even if they're not reporting it through the app or through our website, there's a lot of talk about the garbage and, oh, I saw this on our hike. And so that's where a lot of the things get posted. Our YouTube is usually the cleanups that are filmed, and which not all of them even get filmed. And I don't have a ton of time to do all of our video editing. I do that throughout the winter, and people go, when did that happen? That happened throughout the summer. But yeah, same with TikTok, things like that. That's all usually after the fact. But to be up to date, current on what we're doing today, tomorrow, that's right on our Facebook page.
Right. Okay. And I mean, so Kane, this is a volunteer organization and position that you created and then still run.
Yep.
What do you actually do? What do you get paid for? Because you're not getting paid for this despite all of the amazing work that you're doing. So how do you actually feed the family and pay the bills?
So at 9 a.m., my day starts with OFTF, and that goes all the way until my eyes close. So, and then usually I'm in the backcountry throughout the day, or we're in town doing something OFTF related. And after dinner time, I go to work, which my work day usually ends at 4 a.m.
And what is that work?
I do private security. I can't disclose for who.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But I do private security, dealing with usually the people that we kick out of the backcountry.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when do you sleep, dude? When do you eat? When do you sleep? When do you have time to hang out with your kids? Like, you are always working, especially if you're starting your work day after dinner and going till 4 a.m. and then getting up at 9. Like, that's not a lot of sleep.
I usually sleep for like 5 hours ish
Holy man.
a night. Done this for quite some time. And yeah, I just plug away, and I've just become so used to it that that's how it is now.
That may be the norm now, but I don't know if that will, if your body will allow you to do that for forever. That's quite the slog. But I mean, the work that you're doing is appreciated.
Probably not forever.
Yeah, probably
but
not
I'll
forever.
do it while I can.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What was I going to ask you there? Yeah, I guess if you could wave a magic wand and have everybody know something or do something to help alleviate this problem, what would it be?
You know, one of the big things is to at least help is, if you see something, let us or somebody know. Don't assume the next person's going to report it or has, for one, because we've had that where, oh, I did see that, but I never reported it, let anybody know, because I figured that you guys already had it. Even if we get it 30 times, I'd rather know those 30 times than not know it all.
Yeah.
And if I could wave a magic wand and make all the garbage disappear out of our backcountry for not only people but wildlife, like, this is their home. We're guests in their home. You know, it would just be to smarten up and use your head. Landfill fees aren't that much.
Yeah, they're not that much when you consider, jokingly I said, the cost of gas to get yourself out to the backcountry to dump your stuff is probably more than like the $5 or $10.
It's not even just that. One of the other things is, and we always joke about this, you could have spent even less. I say it's usually $12 to $13 at the landfill for a truckload.
Yeah.
let's say you have $30. What's more expensive, that $30 trip to the landfill or a $575 ticket?
Yeah.
Because there's a good chance we're going to catch you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just
So,
more and more cameras out there now, so
and we're starting
the
to put them up on
ability.
like all the back roads that we possibly can.
Yeah.
And some of the cameras we use are very specialized to get license plates.
Yeah.
I know we're starting to use them all over the place. We're going to be using them in Okanagan Falls, Penticton. We're putting them now up in West Bank, like up in the Glen Rosa and Bartley Road areas,
Mm-hmm.
and they're made to take your plate number. That's
Yeah.
what they're designed for.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that if you're going to go dump garbage, you're
We're
going to
gonna
get
get
a
there.
visit from
Yeah.
a conservation officer, and we helped.
And a ticket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could estimate, or I guess maybe not estimate, but based on the reports that you guys have and the little red dots that are still on the map, how much garbage do you think is still out there? If that's even a answerable question.
If we could put like a freeze on all the garbage
Mm-hmm.
and just go collect what there currently is still in the Okanagan backcountry, it's hard to say. Just even judging by some of the dump piles that we already have, I would
Mm-hmm.
honestly say there's probably almost another couple million pounds.
Really? Even if
Yeah,
there was a freeze on it today? Wow.
that's factoring in everything though,
Yeah.
like vehicles, right down to diapers and just garbage.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
probably over a couple million pounds of garbage, and
That's
that's just
crazy.
from Okanagan Falls to Vernon.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just locally here, let alone the
There's
rest of the
certain there's
province or
certain
country.
back roads right now that if we were to say freeze and go out and magically clean all of this, there's, I mean, Beaver Lake Road right now has 3 vehicles on it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not even a far distance.
Yeah.
And they're either burnt, shot up, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Vandalized of some
And
sort.
your average vehicle weighing starting at like 3,000 pounds up,
Yeah.
that adds up when you start going, okay, well, let's just get the vehicles and the metal out of the bush
Yeah.
because
Yeah. I
metal weighs
mean,
a lot.
you just brought a huge trailer down there a couple days ago. So
I did.
yeah.
That car was
And there's
3,500
more.
pounds.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, once you factor in all the scrap metal and then all the garbage on top of that, yeah, it's there's probably over a couple million pounds of garbage still out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is shocking, but shouldn't be. I mean, I guess people dump it out there. I don't know. It's never even occurred to me in my lifetime, but I also grew up in a family that really appreciated being in the pristine and clean outdoors. So you were
Yeah,
always taught what you take in, you take out, and you
yeah,
leave things how you found them, which obviously was
100%. That's
not the
how everybody
momentum
should
in
be.
every family.
Every family should live on those values, but
Yeah.
that's not the case.
Not
As
always.
much
Not
as we
always.
would all love for it to be, that is not the case.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing you've ever pulled out of the bush?
Oh, man. Huh. There's been a lot of things. Uh, Craziest.
Or most memorable, whatever stands out in your mind.
I have something from this year that we pulled out of the bush that I still have.
Oh yeah?
And that was a 2002 Harley Davidson Softail with a
Wow.
with a
Functional?
I haven't tried to start it. The battery's missing, the gas tank's missing, and the seat is, but everything else is there.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was dumped because there's no VIN numbers on the bike. But I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
I can't put this in the dumpster because everything is there. And it's a crate motor. It's not even the original. It's a very expensive motor and rims and everything. And I was like, that's coming home.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, when you do these cleanups, like the one that I helped with over in Peachland, there was piles of like beautiful cedar wood. Like, do you
Yep.
come home with a bunch of garbage, or have you like said there's a standing rule, don't come home with garbage?
It depends on
Other
what
people's
it
garbage.
is. But I mean, there's always, that's really cool. And then on the other side of my shoulder, I have you don't need that. You have a wife at home that's going to make sure you sleep on the couch if you bring that home.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Definitely.
there's certain things where I'm like, that can't go in the garbage.
Yeah.
A lot of times I look at it as just garbage, right?
Yeah.
Even like when it comes to wood, how long has it been out there? If it's good wood and I think it could be reclaimed for like older furniture
Mhm.
or coat racks, anything like that, I have people that I'll call and I'll
Yeah.
send them photos and be like, "I do you want me to bring this back to your place?"
Yeah, yeah. Not
Because they
mine?
do,
Yeah.
yeah, because they do woodworking and yeah. But at the end of the day, if it comes back to my place, I have a wood stove in my home. That's where it's going to be cut up, and that's
Yeah.
where it's going to go.
Yeah, I wondered about that. Is there, obviously you just mentioned there are people that you call for certain things, but are there things that end up going to donation or recycling because they are in good shape and for some reason they were just left out there or, it
Yes.
was, yeah, okay.
Usually those aren't in dump piles. They usually come
Yeah.
with the encampments we find where there's
Hmm.
power cords and certain tools
Yeah.
and uh,
Bicycles. Yeah.
lots of those. And one of the gentlemen that is my behind the scenes people, I love him to death. His name's David. He is my other brain, and he's always on top of it to take stress off of myself. He does all of our website updating and anything that needs to be done online, whatever, he's there for me, and just boom, it's done. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, thank God.
Yeah.
But quite often when he's there and we're doing stuff, he'll take it to Restore
Yeah.
and see if they want certain things, or he'll do the recycling part of it, and I do as well. Like usually the metal, it all goes back to a metal recycler
Yeah.
or anything we can. But I mean, a lot of the times when we're dealing with garbage, it's garbage.
Yeah.
It goes in on a cleanup. We don't have the time in a day to go, well, that little plastic bag has to go here.
Mm.
This sandwich goes over there. It
Yeah.
all goes in a dumpster,
Yeah.
except for the metal and certain things. But
The
like we
easy
can't,
sortable stuff, like
yeah, like we
the
can't
cleanup
put,
that I helped with, there was a whole bunch of wood. So there was a bin that
yeah,
was just for wood, there was a bin that was just for metal,
yeah.
and then the rest was garbage.
Like there's been times we come across oil drums and jugs and stuff, but we can't
Mhm.
throw those in a bin.
No, of
Those
course
get
not.
set off to the side of the bin. At the end of the day, we gather those, and those go to like a Mr. Lube or wherever the case may be, and
Yeah,
we do the oil recycling, battery recycling, and stuff like just things we can't put in the bin.
yeah, yeah. Where does this go in the future? Like, are your kids involved? Are they going to take over? What happens when 5 hour a night sleep Kane needs to like get more sleep and somebody else has to do what you're doing?
I'm smiling because I'm like, what do you mean 5 hour sleep, Kane?
Yeah.
That can go on forever. It
Yeah.
can.
No.
Um, as time progresses, I mean, my son is a big part of it. I
Mm.
have a 4-year-old daughter who's a big part of it. She comes to a lot of the cleanup. She loves picking up garbage. She gets the little garbage picker because I don't want her touching anything. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
you're too young right now. Here's the garbage picker.
Yeah.
Um, but she loves doing it. So I would love to see both my children sort of take my position and go forward with it when
Mhm.
that time comes. I'm not going to give up that time easily, but
Yeah. Are
when
they
the time
keen on it?
comes,
Does your son want to? I mean, at 4, your daughter is probably a little bit young to be making those life altering decisions, but I don't know how old your son is. Is he showing
he's
an
16.
inkling
My
towards
son
it?
is 16 now,
Yeah.
and he he wants to take over because he likes to play in the equipment.
Oh.
Uh,
Different reasoning, but good,
yeah,
good.
but I mean, he loves the backcountry and being outdoors, but he also finds it very fun to be in the excavator, the bobcat. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is, he's grown up in heavy equipment,
Yeah.
whether it's doing the backcountry cleanups or at his grandpa's property. He's really good at operating the equipment.
Yeah.
And so there's been cleanups where I'm like, here's the keys. I'm gonna go do my thing. You go crush that travel trailer. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And I come
Well,
back
I
and it's
mean, whatever entices him to get in there,
yep.
right?
And my daughter just loves the social aspect of it and being a part of something and cleaning up the garbage. She's 4 years old.
Yeah.
She loved it when we did the OK Falls one because we told her at the end of the day we're gonna go to Tickleberry ice cream.
Yeah.
And yep, that was all we heard about all day. Pick up garbage so we can go get ice cream.
Hey man, there's different incentives that work for different people.
Yeah. But she loved it. And it's definitely become a full family thing. And
That's amazing.
we try to promote that with Okanagan Forest Task Force. It's people of all different ages,
Hmm.
all different races, all walks of life.
Yeah.
And we can, whether you're a single person or you have a whole family,
Yeah.
everyone is welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you enjoy the backcountry and you enjoy it in its clean and pristine version of it, this
Yep.
is a place that you could be involved. And like I said earlier, whether that's through a donation aspect or a physical time donation, so monetary or physical, there's a way to be involved if you care about the backcountry and conservation.
And it's not even just people wanting to go out and pick up garbage. I mean, we have all different kinds of people with interests, whether it's hunters,
Hmm.
hikers. I've got guys that come out that are just photographers and they're like, we love nature.
Yeah.
We're going to help you clean up. We'll take some photos along the way and give them to you to put up on your website. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
But it's literally all different kinds of people that share one common interest, and that's the backcountry and keeping it clean and preserving it for both people and wildlife to enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Which
the
is
end goal.
yeah, which is an incredible end goal to have. And I'm glad that there's a dedicated volunteer group of people that are doing this because it's sad in an aspect that some people just don't care. They go and they enjoy being there using the backcountry and then leave all their garbage for somebody
Yeah.
else to clean up.
So yeah, no, it's been a 8 years labor. There's blood, sweat, and tears into this, and we're not going anywhere anytime soon. I know when we first started, there was a lot of people like, "Oh, is this just one of those? They're going to be here for 2 months, do a couple cleanups, and leave." And
Mhm.
here we are, 8 years later, just killing it.
Yeah. And I mean, when you say that, I guess a question comes to mind of why are you the ones having to do this? I mean, where is the provincial or federal or local municipal governments in this? What role do they play? Do they play any role? And if not, why not? What's your
My
experience so
honest
far?
answer: they're currently spending your tax dollars probably on a holiday,
Yeah. It's
watching us
possible.
do their job. Um, I was on a different show and was asked a similar question. And my answer is you're not going to see a change in what's going on in our backcountry or even in our certain towns until we have a government change.
Do you think that will
Um,
solve it?
Not overnight.
No.
There's so much damage that's already been done. It's gonna take a long time. But the current expenses and housing and just everything in general, being taxed on literally everything you do. You make money, you're taxed on it. You
Mhm.
buy a vehicle that's already been sold 30 times and you're getting taxed every time on it.
Mhm.
I mean, you're taxed on the tax now. Like
Yeah.
people are going broke and they have nowhere else to go other than live in the backcountry. I'm seeing out in the bush families
Mhm.
um, that they're not making a mess, but they have nowhere to go. They
Yeah.
physically cannot afford to live. And both husband and wife work, but they're
Yeah.
living in the backcountry because they can't afford to live.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not talking about just individuals,
No.
you're talking about actual families with children living in the
Yes.
backcountry.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as well as individuals, and it's always the same story. Even
Yeah.
it's even more heartbreaking for the ones with kids. But
Mhm.
you have a single person who works a decent job and they can't even afford a bedroom as a shared
Yeah.
accommodation because
Yeah.
by the time they pay all their bills, they don't have the money,
Yeah.
let alone mom and dad and however many children
Mhm.
who are now in the same boat. It's it's appalling. Like but how do I tell them they can't live in the bush? They're not making a mess. They're not hurting anything in those situations, and they're literally just trying to make the best of life, and they have nowhere to go because they can't afford it.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know if a change in government's gonna change that, certainly not overnight, as you say.
No,
Uh,
it's going to take years to
it's
undo the
gonna take
damage that's
years.
already done.
Yeah, and it's gonna take collaborative government, not just, every 4
Oh yeah,
years a change. It's gonna
yeah,
take
no,
different factions of government to actually,
Yes.
working towards a better solution for people, but that seems to have gotten lost in translation somewhere in the politics of everything that's happening.
The one thing that people, I've been asked before is, when you first started this, how many, I call them encampments, were you cleaning up, whether they were abandoned, or most of them are abandoned, but encampments were you cleaning up? And I was like, one a year, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, how many do you clean up now? And I'm like, one a week. Like,
Yeah. So where do those people go when you say those are abandoned? I mean, if people are living in the backwoods, are they just moving to different areas because they have to? Like, it, you know, you had mentioned before, NROs don't have the ability to say, okay, it's been 14 days, you got to move it along. So why are these places abandoned if people are actually needing to live in them?
I don't know. Where they're going is a good question. Usually, and yet again, I'm not going to paint everybody with the same brush, but the ones that are either not moving, or the ones that are moving quite often, you can follow the garbage trail to where the new location is.
Sadly, yeah.
I'm currently dealing with a family right now where they were at one specific rec site. The mother, it was 6 children, 3 dogs, 2 cats, a husband and wife.
Wow.
Um,
Seriously.
yep, not
Wow.
living in the best of conditions. They've clearly been homeless for quite some time.
Yeah.
Trying to make the best of it in the backcountry. The husband was gone at the time, but I was speaking with the wife, and she's like, "Yeah, I know we're really cold at nighttime." And I'm like, "Well, why don't you guys move down the hill?" Like, for one, I've seen the garbage that they were leaving around their camp. Not a
Yeah.
big fan of it, but
Yeah.
I was very polite in saying, "Why don't we move you down the hill where it's not as cold at nighttime at that elevation,
Mhm.
and we'll try and get you some help or whatever the case may be." And she agreed. Yeah, that's a great idea. My husband will be back tomorrow or this evening. Come back tomorrow. I came back and they were gone.
Wow. Where?
So they were found all the way over a whole nother mountainside by Maple Lake, because I had posted their truck on our Facebook group saying, if anybody sees them, let me know. Because once I posted the story on how I wanted to help this family because of the kids involved and everything, I
Mhm.
had groups reach out and offer to do the cat food and dog food. I had people reach out saying, "We'll give you the money to go take them grocery shopping." I don't want to give them money, but you
Yeah.
can take them grocery shopping, get the kids food, clothes, whatever
Yeah.
they need. And I would just send them the receipts or whatever they need for their end so that they know where it went. But
Yeah.
I felt it's heartbreaking, right? Like, I looked
Yeah.
at
I
these
mean,
children, and these children didn't look like they had had a shower in like 4 or 5 months.
oh wow.
Neither did mom. And
Yeah.
so it's heartbreaking as a person. I've got kids at home. Like,
Yeah.
this
Well,
isn't
and I mean, we're
okay.
not talking one kid, like 6
Yeah.
kids is a lot of kids to be.
Well,
I don't know how you're feeding them in the
there's that
backwoods.
many people living in a trailer that look like it was probably a 24-foot travel trailer.
Yeah, made
That is
for
not a
few
big travel
people.
trailer.
Yeah.
And they were found over there, and I was going to go out there and offer them the help again and see if, because I know the wife had expressed that the truck only had one working brake on all 4 corners. And I was like, oh.
Mm,
And she's like, we can't tow the trailer.
mm.
That turned out that's false, because you took off down to a whole other mountain.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, and we were just going to offer them some help and get them a little better situated for their travels and moving on, is because she expressed they wanted to get back to Ontario.
My gosh, that's a long way away.
With the truck they have, that wasn't doable no matter what kind of help we offered them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, we were going to help them, and they just disappeared. And I was informed actually this morning that their travel trailer where they were has now been left behind, and the truck is no longer found, and the trailer's empty. And
Hmm.
so we
Yeah, so
don't know where they are.
these are real life scenarios that are actually happening in case people feel detached from it. They think, oh, well, you know, it's just so and so or whoever. But there are families that are actually ending up in these uh, backwoods scenarios where they're living out of trucks and travel trailers and things that are broken down. So if people are interested in getting involved, not only on the cleanup side of where people have dumped stuff and that happens, but also maybe more on the humanitarian side of things of how can you get involved and try and help get people back on their feet. We'll definitely make sure that the links to the website and the Facebook page are in the show notes so that people can reach out and get involved if they have any sort of means or capacity to do that.
And this is things that, happen. We call it behind the scenes, where we're not always like, I don't post everything I do in a day on our Facebook group.
Yeah, of course not.
I don't even really post on my own personal Facebook page. I get tagged and things, whatever, but man, I don't. It's more or less just there.
Yeah.
But on there's a lot of things that happen. We've had a lot of scary moments happen, good moments. Certain things just don't get posted in the group, and that's just that. I mean, I happen to post this one, but I've dealt with many families in the same situation where I'll do what I can to help them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important that people know that yourself and other members of OFTF aren't out there trying to make things difficult for people. If you happen to come across it, you're there to offer support and help and resources in whatever way is possible.
There was a camp we dealt with up near James Lake in Kelowna here, and it was just a homeless encampment. The guy didn't have the fuel to even leave, and I ended up pulling money out of my wallet and just, here, let's go get you gas. You can be on your way, and let's get you out of here. But how people approach it, that's also the big thing, right? I went in with the help me help you.
Yeah.
What do you need to help get you out of the backcountry and closer to where, because he clearly needed some help with certain things and medications. And I said, help me help you. What do you need to be able to get you to those items? And he goes, well, I don't want to be here as much as you don't want me to be here. And I was, okay, fair. Do you have a place to go? Do you have fuel to get down there? And he's like, well, I don't have the fuel.
Yeah.
Easy. That's easy for me. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Let's go get your fuel.
Easy fixes. Yeah.
You have food. You're getting a check, something monthly. Yep. Cool. Let's just get you down the hill.
Yeah.
Went and got him fuel, fired up his truck. And it was 2 days later, because it's not like I was going to make him do it right then and there. But I came back to check on the site. He had cleaned up his garbage and he was gone.
Amazing. See, those are the feel good stories that make you think, okay, yeah, it's worth it. It's happening and things are changing. What do you have that's exciting in 2024? What's on the horizon for you guys? More of the same? Yeah. I mean, the big thing was the app launch this year. That was pretty impressive. That's a really useful tool now that everyone can have in their pocket as they're out in the woods.
So here's another cool thing that we have. For people who are curious, what are all these red pins on your website that everybody spoke about? If you go on our website, which is Okanagan Forest Task Force.com, there's a banner and you'll be able to click on map, and you click on the map and you'll see all these red pins. You can zoom in. And if you actually click on a red pin, it'll say view details. So you click on the view details, it'll show you the garbage at that pile or at that pin. So you're not only just seeing the pin, you can see what garbage is at that pin.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we utilize when we're doing these cleanups, is knowing what we're getting into. So, and a lot of people don't know that they're just seeing, oh, well, I just saw these red pins. Well, click on the pin.
Yeah, you can actually get a visual of what's there.
Yeah, you can see what's at that pin.
Yeah.
So that, I'm sure one of the big things this year that we got was we won the Community Civic Award.
Yeah.
From the city of Kelowna. We were nominated the Volunteer Organization of the Year, and we also won Best of Kelowna, which are all super exciting and amazing for the recognition for all the volunteers, right?
And well deserved.
The amount of hours that go in and the volunteers put in, and a lot of people thank me, and I always tell people, don't thank me. It's not just me. This is a whole community and group effort. Yes, I might be the face, but without everybody else behind us, wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it takes a community for sure.
This definitely is not just me. This is everybody
Yeah.
that's helped us, and we're a part of it. Like ABC Recycling, we're actually partnered with them. Everywhere
Mhm.
we go, they bring their big giant semi truck, which is, I don't think you've seen it yet.
No.
Um, Super cool. It's they got a crane built on the back of the semi truck, and he sits up in the crane, and it's got this big arm, and they pick cars up and load the trailers and everything.
Oh, nice.
But they have, it looks like a giant manhole on the back, and he picks it up, and it's electromagnet. So what
Oh,
happens is we'll put
cool.
him beside like the big bonfire pits.
Yeah.
And you can watch him just suck nails right out of the
Oh,
ground.
that's
I'm like,
awesome. That's like
it's
my
just
biggest pet peeve is people burning pallets and then you pop your tires on them. So
that
that's
is
awesome.
one thing I would love to see banned in the
Mhm.
Okanagan. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch hate for that. I get it.
Yeah.
But there's places down on the coast where you are not allowed to burn pallets. It is strictly prohibited. It's
For that reason, somebody's
you
gonna
can
walk on
you
it or drive
like,
on it.
you can burn the wood, but you have to take it apart, take all the nails out of it,
Yeah.
and make it so it's strictly just wood.
Yeah.
But I hate it. Like there's been cleanups where I come out and I'm like, there's like 3 nails in one tire, and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool
So
though that it can use the big magnet and just woof,
yeah,
suck them all up. That's cool.
so we'll come in with a bobcat, and what we'll do is we'll break up the fire pits so it's not hard pack, and then he'll come in and suck out all these nails.
Cool.
And the one year we, just for fun, we're like, let's see how many nails we can pull out of the one fire pit.
Oh
We
gosh.
stopped trying at 14,480 pounds of nails
Wow. That's insane.
from one fire pit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, that's a lot of metal just chilling in the dirt for a long time. But
Yeah.
cool what technology can do now. I mean, you would have been out there with like a little magnet and a metal detector back in the day if you were trying to get any of that kind of stuff out. So now just a big hovering metal magnet and you can just whoop,
Yep.
suck them all up.
And I
That's
mean,
cool.
on our cleanups, we have rolling magnets and all kinds of
Yeah.
magnet sweepers. But to watch that truck do it,
Yeah.
it's
That's neat.
really cool to watch, and how he
Yeah.
even picks up certain metal, and it's the big tools that really help.
Yeah. Yeah. They make the difference. The right tools for the job, right? They make
Yeah.
all the world a difference.
Yeah.
Kane, we have a closing tradition on this podcast where I ask a series of rapid fire questions
Oh boy.
that are short form answers. They're not tough, but we'll do those and then we'll wrap things here. So, what's your favorite backwoods resource? Whether that's a podcast, a book, a forum, a talk show. Like, where do you go to if you're looking for information about the backwoods?
One, the internet. Two, I like
Okay.
podcasts because I can play them in the vehicle. I can listen to them while I'm falling asleep,
Yeah.
or even at a cleanup and just throw in some earbuds and listen to podcasts.
Do you have a favorite one?
I actually just recently learned about this one, so I'm going to be going back and re-listening to all your podcasts now.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. Thank you. What would be your favorite backwoods snack?
Ooh, do drinks count?
For you, yes.
I live on Monster Energy drinks, which I'm cutting back on, but yeah, those keep me going. But honestly, snack wise, food, I carry a lot of the like granola bars.
Yeah. I mean, until you cut back, Monster should be sponsoring you because you do live off of those things.
Literally, with no sleep, it keeps me going.
Yeah. Well, we should fix that ratio. More sleep, less Monster. Eventually, one day.
One day.
When you're out in the backwoods, double socks or one sock?
One
I
sock.
mean, one layer.
One
Obviously, you wear
sock.
2 socks, but
I have I wear really good, thick, heavy duty waterproof boots, so one sock.
yeah, nice. What's your? Well, I guess you already answered this one. What's your go-to drink in the woods? That would be Monster.
That'd be Monster.
And what's the one absolute essential thing that you have to have on every adventure?
One absolute thing is I like to always carry a very good pocket knife.
Critical. Yeah.
Whether hunting, hiking, on a cleanup, I always carry a really good pocket knife because one, you never know when you're going to need it. Two, it adds protection.
Yeah, true.
I'm dealing with garbage, which wildlife is attracted to, and sometimes depending on the wildlife, I need something to protect me.
Yeah, depending on the wildlife. Although some of it's pretty cool. When I was at that Peachland cleanup, we found this massive, I want to say it was probably not a boa constrictor, but anyways, it was a giant snake and it was beautiful and it was just curled up among the garbage and
It
hanging
was
out.
probably a rubber boa.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very neat. Very neat. Well, Kane, thank you so very much for coming on the show today. And like I said, I will put links to all of the things and places where people can find the OFTF online and get involved. And until next time, is there anything else that you want people to know that I didn't ask you?
Our license plates say beautiful British Columbia. Let's try and keep it beautiful.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
You have a great day.
Thanks for tuning in today to watch or listen, and make sure to hit that like or subscribe button to follow along wherever you get your podcasts. If you have any questions, comments, or reviews, please drop them down below. I will read them and I will get back to you. Or you can reach me at questions@entrypointhunting.com. If you know an expert or someone who offers great advice or is just growing rapidly in the field of hunting, angling, or conservation, please send them my way. I would love to reach out and connect with them. And until next time, friends, stay hungry.